Many Hollywood stars go through tumultuous times in their personal lives. It was tricky for a star to keep private about their hardships, but Patricia Neal was hit by a string of tragedies in her life. On the flip side, this woman achieved many awards because of her variety of acting jobs in film and stage. Patricia's story is certainly a bitter, sweet one, but worth mentioning what made her leave a long-lasting stamp on film history. Growing up in Knoxville, Tennessee, Neal knew she was destined for a bigger and brighter future, and she knew she would be an actress since her childhood. After graduating as a theater major from Northwestern University, just like Jennifer Jones, who I've covered before, Neal relocated to New York City and worked as an understudy on Broadway. Patricia found her footing quickly and secured a role on Broadway in the play called Another Part of the Forest in 1946. She was only 20, but this extraordinary performance led to an extraordinary achievement for Neal. She won a Tony Award for Best Featured Actress in a Play. Neal, now an overnight success story, joined the Actors Studio in NYC that churned out big names like Anne Bancroft, Jane Fonda, and Cece Spacek, who all won Best Actress Oscars in their careers. The young Neal was instantly approached by Hollywood execs like David O. Selznick, who famously fashioned Jennifer Jones's career and married her later. He even tried to convince Neal that she would secure an Oscar while trying to get her into bed. The former obviously would come true, but the latter, not so much. But it was Neal's earnest and somber acting, clearly influenced by more naturalistic acting style, that secured her roles instantly in films like John Loves Mary, The Day the Earth Stood Still, The Fountainhead, and Bright Leaf, both opposite Gary Cooper, between 1949 and 1951. But it was not long until the bad side of Hollywood really started creeping in. Gary Cooper was one of many already married womanizers in Hollywood, and when Patricia Neal fell pregnant from Cooper, it meant that she had to abort illegally and secretly. Not surprising, as many Hollywood actresses went through this, like a rite of passage. This moment led to the bitter and broken Neal to depart Hollywood and back to New York City. But this moment, although very traumatic, was a blessing in disguise. Neal plunged into darker roles on Broadway. With her connections from her time on Broadway and Actors Studio, she went on to act in The Children's Hour, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, Suddenly Last Summer, A Face in the Crowd, and Miracle Worker. All of these stage productions were actually adapted to film, by the way. In 1953, Neal met Roald Dahl, and they got married and started a family. Those were the 50s for Neal. The early 60s was the revival of Neal's film career. She starred opposite Audrey Hepburn in Breakfast at Tiffany's in 61. And in 1963, she starred in HUD opposite Paul Newman, the most memorable and celebrated role of Neal, because this film earned her many awards. Although considered to be a minor role for her appearance only being 25 minutes, Neal still won a BAFTA, Laurel, National Board of Review, New York Film Critics Circle, and an Academy Award in the year 1964. 1968, she was nominated again for an Oscar for her role in The Subject of Roses. Although the 60s were revolutionary for Neal, those years were infused with disaster. Neal and Dahl's 7-month-old son was hit by a car and got brain damage, from which he was rehabilitating for 2 years. This was in 1960, and in 1962, their 7-year-old daughter passed away from measles. Moreover, Neal suffered 3 burst cerebral aneurysms while pregnant in 1965 and was in a coma for 3 weeks. She had to rehabilitate and luckily gave birth to a healthy daughter. Neal's work was spread thinly since the 70s, and her final film appearance was in 2009 in Flying By. Her drive and talent pulled in projects that made her one of the most successful actresses on stage and film in the 50s and 60s. The Best Actress Oscar was the cherry on the cake to prove that it was not that she needed Hollywood, but Hollywood needed her. But none of the dramatic films or plays she was in stand anywhere near the heart-wrenching story of her life. Only somebody strong and relentless would live a life Patricia Neal had lived.